missed a lot of the race because of commercials. So I guess Fox and NASCAR, they're like, well, I mean, we're going to try to give you as much racing as we can, at least on the back end.
It's still, and I said this to you in the middle of the race, it's still amazing to me that they can't get, I don't know, 2 of the premier sponsors of the series or whatever to sponsor all 4 to sponsor the event, and then like rotate their logo in the corner somewhere.
Yeah.
The selling point there would be if you have when a caution happens, every time that gets every time that's replayed, every time someone watches it on YouTube or whatever, they see Coca-Cola or Busch Light or whatever.
Yeah.
Like that should be a pretty big incentive, and you're already the premier sponsors of the series. We should be able to get it where our biggest race of the year is basically commercial free. You can cut during like some or some caution laps or whatever, but yeah, there's no reason this race needs to be 60% commercials, which is what it felt like.
Yeah. I'm curious to see. I'm sure somebody tweeted out what the actual number of laps were under green that we missed due to commercial, because it was literally averaging like every 8 laps.
Yeah.
There was commercial. Yeah, I don't know, dude. Like I'm not a marketing guy. I don't work in TV. I don't know. Like it's just it's frustrating to watch, and because especially when you do have a compelling race, like they weren't choo-choo train around the top, as Black Flags Matter says. And I mean, I know the Daytona 500 is the most exposure a company that has an ad is going to get, but still you're going to turn people off. I mean, it's hard to gain new fans if they're watching. They're going to be like, yeah, I mean, that was cool, but I didn't feel like watching all those damn commercials, so I'm not turning it back on. So, it's again a double-edged sword. Like, you get people that you want to give the sponsors their recognition for paying to be a part of the Daytona 500, but also, you can't just shoot your fans in the foot,
Yeah. And that
it's
was
not a saying, but
no, but it worked.
Yeah, you know
it
what
worked.
I meant.
But it's another example, 100% that we absolutely do not need stage cautions at least a super speedway for sure, and
oh yeah,
really anywhere, but definitely a super speedway. We don't need it. They took every commercial break they wanted anyway, and then double dipped 5 or 6 laps before the end of the stage.
Yeah.
So it's like, that's another thing. Like, we talk about the NASCAR TV deal all the time, so yeah. I might as well talk about it a little bit now. That's one of the things. There needs to be like stipulations. Like, okay, if we're going to keep stage cautions, which is supposed to be for you, then you can't double dip and go to commercial with 10 laps to go in the stage. It's stupid. Pisses me off to no end.
Well, I think the inner workings of that was, let's tell the fans it's for commercials, but really what it was probably designed to be like, okay, we could put, a commercial here, and then we also get one during this caution too. So
yeah, that, and it's for restarts, but
yeah, that too. Yeah.
but you don't need at Daytona.
No, I'm a big fan of doing away with stage cautions at super speedways.
Yeah, I'm gonna run through.
I'm a damn sure let Travis Pastrana know I was here.
And then Kyle took a hell of a lick, and Fox again did not say once if the guys in the last crash were okay. And Larson hit hard, and I think someone else.
Brad hit hard.
Hard.
A lot of guys, dude. I mean, even if they don't hit hard, I mean, it was still like, oh my god.
Yeah.
Like, at least a little.
It takes 3 seconds.
Yeah. And like, we interviewed biggest race in the sport. Now, granted, it went over obviously, but
we interviewed 3 drivers, right?
3 drivers: Joey, Christopher Bell, Ricky Stenhouse.
Yeah.
Interviewed the top 3. Didn't interview Travis Pastrana. Didn't interview Kyle Larson. Didn't interview Kyle Busch.
Didn't interview Jimmy Johnson.
Jimmy Johnson. I mean, Kevin Harvick. I mean, it's not his last race, so I guess we didn't need to interview Kevin Harvick. He didn't really do much. But yeah, I mean, it's like at least NBC, you could go to Peacock and get a post race. You can't even get that with Fox. And I saw someone tweet, I think it was our old buddy Dom Joseph, actually. He goes, it's pretty sad when you have to go to Twitter to see post race interviews. And I thought about it. I was like, normally those post race interviews that you get from Twitter, they ask better questions they do on the TV broadcast, which is a whole nother like issue with Fox.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Fox used to have great post race content.
Yeah.
And what doesn't make any sense to me is
we have
how long was the
2 hours of fucking pre-race? Yeah. Which I thought it was a good pre-race. I thought the CGI cars on that whatever lap they did, I thought that was really fucking dumb. I would have rather have done like done that on iRacing or something.
Yeah.
Like I thought that was it was 2023 and that it looked bad. Like
Fox is worth how
much?
Why
didn't they have Lefty do it? Like
they would have been a good idea.
I guess, yeah. Yeah, because he did the commercial. So why didn't they let him do that? I don't know. But yeah, I mean, pre-race show was longer than all hell.
Yeah, and it's like it was fine it was good for pre-race, I guess. Yeah. I'll put it that way. I've never been a big fan of pre-race shows, but it was good for pre-race. It's just like we don't need 2 hours of pre-race.
No, we don't.
We just don't. Like on social, especially these days.
You need 30 minutes of pre-race, 2 hours of post-race.
Yeah. Like back in the day, I get it. There wasn't social media. You kind of needed time to get these stories in, whatever. I get it. Nowadays, we've been looking at it on social media all week. And I know you can say, oh, it's the Daytona 500. Everybody isn't tuning in that tunes in every week. Twitter. Go on Twitter. Hashtag NASCAR. It's not that difficult.
It's like I'd even be okay for it having I'd be okay with the long pre-race show for the Daytona 500 as long as we can get some on the back end as well. But every week we don't need. Yeah, we get way too much pre-race that we don't need every week.
Yeah. And then it's like I even saw a comment. I saw a comment on the Reddit post-race thread about someone, whoever it was a casual, and he was like, they didn't do a good job of explaining this, that, and the other for a casual fan. And that's kind of funny to me because I always complain, like, fuck the casuals, like, they can figure it out. But it's funny because they do sit there and explain a whole bunch of shit.
They definitely did.
And you still get casuals going, we don't get it. So just cut it out. If they don't get it anyway, then let it go. If they're really concerned, if I'm watching a sport I don't normally watch.
Example. I'm sorry.
If I'm watching a sport I don't normally watch, say I tune in on, I get up really early on a Sunday for whatever reason, and I turn in rugby. Okay. And I'm like, what are they doing? I'm going to Google it. I'm going to Google it, and I'll find it in probably 5 seconds. Like, hey, what's that called when all the players get in a circle? Oh, it's called a scrum. Okay. Anyway,
everything for thee and not for we, or whatever that fucking saying is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do want to say, like, the best example of like catering to a casual fan that I've ever seen. Go watch the last two laps of the 2014 Daytona 500. It was the first race on Fox after they switched from Speed Channel to FS1, and there was a lot of, I guess they maybe thought there were new fans or whatever. I would definitely notice them catering to the casual fan more in that race, and I think that was a lot of the reasoning for it. But Mike Joy did a beautiful job of painting that picture without making it, seem like, oh, this is how a restart is. This is what pit road speed is, and this is why, like the fucking PA announcer at Charlotte Motor Speedway. If you've ever heard Lenny Matticki, holy shit, oh my God, could you imagine him? God, he's the worst PA like ever. Like, if you ever go to Charlotte, pay attention to who the PA. It's actually terrible.
Do yourself a favor, don't. But
no, if I gotta deal with it, I want everybody to all for thee and none for we, or whatever that saying is I just said. I don't know, man. Fox is terrible. They're just terrible, and it's getting
embarrassing at this point.
I would love to see what NBC did with the Daytona 500.
I would love to see the NBC do the Indy 5 or the Daytona 500 because their coverage of the Indy 500 is pretty good for my money. Like I watch it later.
Dale Jr. would be so good.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, the booth is the best part about Fox.
Yeah.
But it still doesn't make up for all the other bullshit.
It doesn't. The camera work is terrible.
Shoddy.
There's sometimes it's okay, but most of the time it's just out of nowhere. The editing room, whatever you call it, the control room, it has no idea what to show at what time.
No, not
like just never. They have no spatial circumstantial awareness of what to show, and it's infuriating. I'm like, dude, I could run it better, and like as long as you show me the buttons or whatever, I could run what camera to show at what time better than professionals that have been doing it for years can do. That's embarrassing.
Yeah. Yeah. I concur. Yeah.